Hello, 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 and welcome to another episode of the Couch Warriors. I'm one of your hosts, Richard Laddie. I'm on the hot seat this week. We've had a few technical difficulties, and we're having talking difficulties as well. So yeah, here we are. It's a Wednesday. It's Origin Day, so we're just going to do a real quick episode, real quick little catch up. Obviously, no Warriors game to review, but there's a game to preview, and there's a few other things happening in the world of rugby league we're talking about. So I'll welcome in my co-host as always, John Lazaron. John, how you going, bro? How's the week been?
Uh, Good, mate. It was going really well until my computer sort of putted out. I really don't think technology likes the couch warriors, mate. This is, I mean, how many times has this happened to us where something just goes wrong on podcast night, but then any other night, the computer's fine, the internet's fine, everything's fine. Then when it comes to recording, something just happens. How many times has it happened? I mean, the audience doesn't know this. The people who are listening or watching don't know this. But come on, tell them. How many times has it happened?
Every week, bro, it's some sort of technical difficulty.
Yeah.
It's just hard being millennials these days. We're not quite up with the Gen Zers, and this new technology we're using. But we're trying to push our way through. John started up the TikTok, so we're getting on the TikToks, and we'll be doing a few dances once we get to 1,000 likes. So yeah, if you want to see us do some funny NRL related dances, give us a
All
like on TikTok, and we'll see what we can do.
We've already cracked 1,000 likes, mate. So you've just put
Oh,
your foot in it. So yeah.
followers.
But and just for everyone watching and listening, this is why I'm on my phone right now, recording on my phone because of the fact that I don't have my laptop. For some reason, it just wouldn't start last night, so I'm gonna take it into the shop. And it's not that old of a laptop, only 2 or 3 years old. So uh, and it happened on recording night. So yeah,
Yeah, and
go figure.
we tried to use his work laptop, and then we
Yeah,
couldn't see each other in the
yeah,
recording, so we just thought, hey, let's do this tomorrow.
yeah.
Pre Origin, we're going to be up late anyway, so
Exactly. Yeah.
here we are. There obviously was a few games of rugby league on the weekend. Did you have any particular highlights? Any games you watched? You wanted to shout out? Any teams?
I watched a couple of games, but mate, it was. I mean, before I go into that, it was quite strange. Like every time there's a bye for the Warriors, it's it's lonely. Do you get what I'm saying? It's lonely. It's like you got this image of someone sitting on a swing out in a park where it's like a grey, overcast day. It was just lonely. It's like like, what do I do? There's no Warriors game. What do I do? What am I supposed to do right now? It's kind of that. Even though
Yeah,
there's other games going on, there's Super Rugby semi-finals, but who gives a crap? It's just what do you
I
do? What
mean,
do you do? Yeah,
yeah, bro, I felt the same. I was just sort of, and the fact there was only like 5 games as well. But I did want to give a special shout out to the Dolphins. I think they've scored
yeah,
20 tries in the last 2 weeks. They put 50 points on the Cowboys. Obviously, the Cowboys without the likes of Robson and Nanai and
yeah,
Dearden and Cotter as well, and maybe someone else. But yeah, I mean, still, they look like they're in hot form, and that's coming off putting 50 points on the Dragons the week before. So definitely one to look out for. I think the Warriors have got them coming up in a few weeks. So hopefully we don't. I think defensively we're in a pretty good spot to stop that sort of thing. But that was probably the big talking point. And then obviously the Titans down in the Seagulls as well. The Seagulls
yeah.
look like they're in all sorts of strife at the moment, even with their full strength team. They had no one playing Origin and still managed to go down to the Titans, and so yeah, it's just I did managed to catch a little bit of it, but I'm looking forward to watching the Warriors again this weekend. Before we sort of rip into the game against the Panthers, I did want to touch on the big news out of the Warriors camp sort of earlier this week. I think it was on Monday or Tuesday, with Tanner Stowers-Smith re-signing. This is on the back of
Yeah.
um, Halasima and Laban re-signed until 2029 about 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So Tanner Stowers-Smith, he's played 2 games off the bench so far this season. Looks made for first grade. He's a young boy. I think he's only about 21, another 21-year-old. He's re-signed until 2028. So you would have been happy to see that news come through the other day, John.
Oh, I was loving it. I mean, if you know our platforms, you would have seen the video I put up. With all the young guns. Just doing a little bit of a video where just showing the young guns and what they've been doing and what the Warriors have been doing for their pathways. It's just amazing, right? When you've got It's not just the talent that's coming through. It's also the fact that they're signing them long term, and because honestly, rival NRL clubs will be circling those players because they're so young, but also they're showing the maturity to show that they can play in first grade. And I have no doubt that rival clubs will be pushing in on those players' agents. But the Warriors have gone in and realised this, and they've got no. We want these guys long term, and they've signed them not just on like a 1 year deal or 2 year, long term deals. 2028, like you said, 28 for Tanner Stowers-Smith. I think also 2028 for Dimitri Valmanga as well. He's
Yep.
on 228, and then you got Laban, like you said, and Halasima to 29. It's awesome, and these guys are the future, and it's not just this. I'm not saying they're the future because they're so young. It's because they're young and they've got the talent, and we've already seen it, and they're showing the maturity already, and they can handle first grade. So these guys are the future, and it's awesome to see. And congratulations to Tanner Stowers-Smith from Canterbury, a Canterbury boy. To
Hmm.
be honest, mate, he's 21 years old, but he looks a lot older. I don't mean that in a
I know.
negative. He doesn't look. I don't mean that in a negative way. I don't mean that in like, oh, you look old like a grandpa. I mean that if you told me he was like 28 or something, I would have believed you. He looks a lot older than
um,
21.
Mate, he'd pass for early 30s easy enough. I thought the exact same thing.
Yeah,
He's got a wise look about his face.
yeah,
And yeah, when he first, I'd sort of heard the name, and I maybe not sort of put two and two together or put the face to it. And when he came on that first game about 3 or 4 weeks ago, I was like, oh, he's looks a lot older than I expected, and I was like, no, he is 21. He's a St. Bede's boy as well. I think I mentioned it the other day, but yeah, it's my old high school, so good to
yeah,
see. Yeah, a good St. Bede's boy making it into the Wars camp. We haven't had too many good sports stars over the years, so he could be the next big thing. We've also got you talked about sort of Amaga 2028, Laban, Leka, Halasima 2029. We've also got Sam Healy 2027. So
yeah,
it's an extra 2 years of him.
yeah,
And what we've seen from him this year has been just amazing. He really good distributor of the ball, quick around the ruck.
yeah,
I think there would have been a few Cronulla fans the other week watching that game thinking, oh, we probably shouldn't have let this guy go.
yeah,
And even the likes of Tuapiki and Metcalf, we've still got them till the end of next year. I know, and it looks like I don't know if you've seen there's a bit of chat this week about. It sounds like the Warriors are pretty keen to snap up, in particular Metcalf with the way he's playing. The Tuapiki thing will be interesting. Obviously, it depends what happens with Chance. I think from memory, Chance is signed till the end of 2026 as
yeah.
well, maybe 20.
He signed an extension earlier in the year, or maybe
Yeah,
sorry, maybe a month or two ago. He signed an extension, so
yeah.
he's staying on board as well. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with Tuapiki. Speaking of Tuapiki, I mean, did you see that nasty hit that he got?
Oh,
That he took on the weekend from that Manly player. I actually forgot the name. I had it written down. I just can't find it right now. But he got
yeah,
5 weeks. He got 5 weeks for it. It was a dog shot. It was a definite dog shot. And it happened just right on the buzzer, right? Just before the
yeah.
buzzer. Yeah,
Down by 20 points in the 80th minute. Yeah, it's just I don't know. I suppose one of those ones where it's frustration obviously got the better of him, but it was
yeah,
just that's there's no time for that. And good to hear he
yeah,
got 5 weeks. And a lot of the sort of Australian NRL media were they were all saying that's just one of the worst dog shots we've seen in years, pretty much.
yeah,
So it looked like he was. I sort of saw a picture after the game, and he was up and about and sitting with them. So it's good to see that he was able to sort of get up and walk around. But he's obviously out of both. Not playing New South Wales Cup this week either. So he's obviously definitely will be out for a couple of weeks on HIA watch, I imagine.
yeah,
But yeah, no, it's a very exciting time to be a Warriors fan, that's for sure. With some of these young guys, I mean, we talked about Halasima's, he's about second or third on our YLMs this year.
yeah,
Dimitri picked up six games in that Cronulla, 6 points in that Cronulla game. So they both sort of like had their moments. Laban, every time he gets a chance, whether it's starting or coming off the bench, he seems to really put his hand up. And so yeah, exciting times ahead.
yeah,
It's an odd situation to be in with the Warriors. I've talked a lot about the likes of Leka and Isaiah Papali'i. We've seen with them when they Katoa went to Storm, Papali'i went to the Eels, about 4 or 5 years ago, and instantly they became these. We sort of saw glimpses of what they could do at the Warriors, but it wasn't until they got elsewhere we saw what they could do. I feel
Yeah.
like with the likes of these some of these young boys coming through, where they're obviously going to be here for a few years, and we're seeing now just how good they are and will be in the future, eh?
Yeah, that's exactly right, bro. And and just like you're saying, just to mention, cartoon and everything, it's been a common theme within the Warriors where players that are up and coming, they're either up and coming and then they get snapped up, or they're players that come to New Zealand to join the Warriors to try and get a shot at the NRL. Then they succeed, and then they leave to go to another team after they've actually done some success at the Warriors. That's coming. It's a common thing. You can think of players like Chad Townsend, for example, James Maloney. Just some names that you can bring up there. Just for example, who came because they needed a break. They got the break at the Warriors, and as soon as they were able to showcase what they could do, they were gone. So you see that kind of thing happen, but this is why this is a credit to the pathway system going on at the Warriors right now. The success that is coming out of the pathways because there are multiple players, and they're probably players that we haven't even touched upon or talked upon. In terms of talking about them, is that the Harold Matthews Cup boys, for example, back-to-back winners, under 17s, and you've got guys like Bishop Neal coming from there. He's going to be a beast of a player, coming up and stuff. And he's been spoken about a little bit, but these are the players that are going to be spoken about a lot in the future, and there's more players to come. And this is again a credit to the pathway systems for the Warriors pathway system, sorry, where things are just going so well. And not only are they going well, and they're bringing up some awesome players, but they're also the players. What's refreshing to see, bro, is that the players want to stay on instead of thinking like, I'm keen to go. I'm going to do a Lockie Galvin and go to a better club. This sort of type thing. But that's what Lockie Galvin did. That's what he essentially did. When Tigers
Yeah.
to the Bulldogs. If you say otherwise, shut up. Anyway, the thing is that that's what's really happened, and these players want to stay at the club. That's why they're signing long term, and that's the refreshing thing about it. That's what I think anyway.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's awesome to see, and it's going to be awesome to see a handful of them playing this weekend when the Warriors return to Mount Smart. I feel like they haven't played too many games at Mount Smart recently. They've been winning so much on the road,
Mm.
but they lost. I think it was their game to the Raiders, wasn't it? Yeah, so they lost to the Raiders about a month ago at Mount Smart, but they returned there this week. A bit of contention around the travel from Perth for the Origin players, and I think we'll touch on
So
that a bit later. But might as well I'll bring up the team list. I presume you don't have the team list on your screen. You've just
nah, I
got
don't
your
have my
phone there,
phone, and
John.
I don't,
So
don't have my phone or a comp, and I couldn't be bothered getting my work laptop out. I didn't want to ruin any. I didn't want the recording not to be ruined by any other technology issues. So I'll leave you. I'll leave it to you. I'll leave it with you, mate.
just waiting for your phone to run out of battery now, and then that'll be the creme de la
Yeah,
creme.
don't worry. I got the charger right here. Got the charger right here.
Nice, bro. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's no massive surprises. I suppose the big talking point in the centres, but we'll start from the back. We've got Chance Nickel-Clockstad at fullback, Dallin Watini-Selesniak, and Roger Tuivasa-Sheck on the wings. Adam Pompey and Moala Graham Taufa in the centres. So for those of you counting at home, that's 4 double barrel surnames and the 5 outside backs in the game. Moala Graham Taufa, we obviously saw a bit of him last season. I don't think we've seen him in the squad this year. So be interested to see him go. I know there has been a bit of talk about the presence of young Eddie Iremia Taova, another
Yeah.
double barrel on the extended bench, and whether there could be a move there. And I think he's been playing a bit of centre in for New South Wales Cup, but it looks like MGT's got it. He's obviously going to the Rabbitohs next year.
Yeah.
It was a funny one, old Moala Graham Tolfa, because he had a few runs last year and actually looked pretty good. I kind of liked what I saw from him, but
Mm.
obviously just with the depth we've got in the outside backs, he's hasn't been able to have his chance. So good
Yeah.
luck to him going
And
to the Rabbits.
yeah, and you also got to consider like someone probably didn't mention before, but and should be mentioned. Ali Leotoa. He's
Oh yeah,
another one of the young
and
guns, and
Rocco.
he's at centre as well.
Oh
So
yeah,
yeah, so yeah. I mean, I think he's injured at the moment, but what like I said, it's you can understand why Weiler's Graham 12 is going off to somewhere else because he's getting the opportunity somewhere else. So you can understand it. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Even Rocco Berry, bro. Like Rocco, I just had a wee Google before, and he's 24 himself. So he's still got you
Yeah,
know, he could still, if he stays at the club, he's still got another, you know, good 6-7 years
yeah,
left in him potentially. If he can stay injury free, that seems to be his problem.
yeah, yeah,
So we'll go back to the team. We've got Chanel Harris DeVito and Luke Metcalf. So we've got another double barrel there. So it's five out of the 7 in the back line. Yeah, obviously no surprises there. Both of them coming off arguably their best games of the season against the Cronulla Sharks 2 weeks ago. Then we've got James Fisher-Harris, another double barrel, playing against his old team, the Plymouth Panthers, and lining up against his good mate from the Panthers and from the Kiwis as well, Moses Leota. So really looking forward to seeing that matchup. And just I mean Fisher-Harris. I think a lot of the reason that some of these young boys are hanging around, I think, is the lessons they're learning from Fisher-Harris. He seems to be a really amazing leader, So loving seeing that. Got Wade Egan at hooker, Marata Nuakore at prop. So he's obviously moved from the second row, so I don't mind seeing that at all. Two of the young boys in the second row, so Leka Halasima and Jacob Laban, and Aaron Clark, Mr. Consistent at lock. So obviously no Kurt Capewell. He's playing Origin tonight for the Queenslanders.
yeah,
And it won't be able to make it back in time. And then on interchange, you've got Tamara Martin, Jackson Ford, Dimitri Gualmolga, and Tanner Stowers-Smith, as I mentioned, recently
yeah.
re-signed, with Sam Healy as 18th man, and then Bunty, Tanner Boyd, Edward Kossi, Eddie Eremaya, Toova, and the extended bench. So was there any surprises there? Was that kind of how you saw the team playing out, John?
Yeah, no surprises to me. I mean, it all in terms of center position. We always know Pompey was going to take one, and it all came. I think it all came down to Rocco whether he was fit enough. If Rocco
Yeah,
was fit, I reckon he'd be there. So I reckon that's why MGT is there. But hopefully he has a great game. I mean, he's still while he's going to the Rabbitohs next year, he's still a Warrior right now. So hopefully he can put on a good show there and show us what he's got, what his talent that he's got, what he can do. So yeah, no, nothing that surprises me there. I kind of wish that they could find a way for Healy to be there somewhere.
yeah,
I really wish that. I know it's hard to do that when you've got a team that's performing so well. It's hard to put players in. Like look at Tanner Boyd for example. An amazing player, amazing kicker. We know that, but he can't even crack the first. He can't crack the 17 because of the fact that there are other players that are just performing really well and deservedly, are in the starting 17. So yeah, no surprises. Shout out to New Kure playing his 50th game for the club, I believe.
indeed.
Yep, and Tomato Martin will play his 100th NRL game. So shout out to those two stalwarts of rugby league. I wouldn't say not just the club, but of the rugby league in general.
Yeah.
For New Zealand, especially for New Zealanders anyway, for the Kiwis anyway. So yeah, no, I see no surprises there, and really confident of the side. They can do that. The side can do the job against Penrith, but at the same time, I'm very wary. I know Penrith. Will very likely will be out. With their Origin stars, and will probably be out with Capewell. But I wouldn't just say because I've seen a lot of social media over the past few days where people are saying, oh, these players shouldn't be playing. Oh, this should be a walkover, and I just don't like that because it's the kind of thing that happened to us last year when we played Penrith at Magic Round. They
Yeah.
they had pretty much a full strength team, close to a full strength team. We didn't. We were just had so many injuries that we had to throw in a lot of young players. People were playing out of position. I think even Chance played 5'8". I can't remember. I can't remember if it was that game, but we won the game. We beat them at Magic Round at Suncorp, and we were playing with players who had a little first grade experience, and
Yeah.
we were able to do it against the team that won the comp. In nearly at full strength. So if people are going out there saying this should be a walkover, I would just be very careful about that because I still think you got to be careful because Penrith obviously they haven't had the greatest season. They haven't found their winning ways of the last 4 years, but they still know how to win. They just haven't done it of late. And if I don't know. I just think that you got to be careful. I'm not going to say we're going to walk. I mean, I'd love to see us walk over Penrith, but I don't know if it's going to be the case or not. I just think be careful. Yeah,
It doesn't. I don't feel like it's in the Warriors' DNA to have two big wins. Two big wins in a row. Yeah, I'm
yeah,
with you there. I mean, you look at the Penrith team, and I mean, sure, yeah, they're missing some quality in the likes of Cleary or Dylan Edwards, Isaiah Yeo, and Liam Martin.
Yeah,
But there's still, you look at the guys who've come in to sort of replace them. Dane Laurie's in there. We've got Thomas Jenkins and Paul Alamonte on the wing. So both of them have, had plenty of first grade perch. Played most of the games this year.
yeah,
Even got Casey McLean and Isaac Targo in the centres. So there's plenty of firepower in that back five. Obviously, not quite to the extent of sort of To'o and Edwards, but if they're firing, they'll be good. They've got Blaze Talagi, who seems to have made that number 6 jersey his own, and then Brad Schneider comes and plays halfback. And Brad Schneider's always sort of been a pretty handy backup for both Luai and Cleary in the last couple of years when either of them's been out. And then sort of mentioned before, you got Leota and Lindsay Smith and the props, Mitch Kenny captain and hooker, Scott Sorensen, Isaac Paipali'i, so a couple of Kiwis there,
yeah,
and Matthew Eisenhuth and at lock. So still plenty of likes of Liam Henry, Luke Garner on the bench, along with Trent Talau and Luron Patia. So a couple of guys don't know too much about there, but there's still some firepower there. There's still a really good forward pack, So it's still going to be a big battle up front. And as I
yeah.
said before, hopefully Fisher Harris will have a few secrets about what grinds certain players' gears, but I'm looking forward to it, and it's just going to be good to have the Warriors playing again. It's on a Friday night this week as well. I feel like we haven't had a Friday night game for a while.
No, I'm pretty sure
Um,
Saturday. I'm pretty sure Saturday. You might have to check on Google. I haven't got my phone on me.
oh no, that is. Yeah, you're right. I
Yeah,
thought it was Friday because they're not having a Thursday night game, and I knew it was in the second game. Yeah, no,
yeah,
you're right. Saturday. Yeah, but
Saturday.
obviously the still not enough time for the Origin players to make the
No,
trip over. Just how do we look? I mean, you mentioned Tamara Martin before, like I'm sure that he wasn't expecting that he'd ever make it to 100 NRL games. So massive shout out to him.
yeah, totally.
Like he was a big part of, I think, from memory, I'm pretty sure when we bet them in Magic Round, I feel like
He
he
was
was
halfback.
potentially,
He was the
yeah, he was a
halfback, wasn't
halfback,
he? Yeah, yeah,
big part of it, and he's. I really like. I know it would be good to see Sam Healy get a spot, but I think it's smart having a back on the bench. Like you think about last year, the amount of times that we got caught out. When we had about 2 or 3 of our outside backs would get injured in a game, and the back line was just unrecognisable and would get found out. So I think So I don't as much as I want to see Sam Healy get more time. I think there's still a spot for a back on the bench, and when you've got a back on the bench, you probably can't justify having like a hooker utility as well. So, it,
yeah,
yeah, I mean, I'm sure Andrew Webster's just figuring out exactly the best process for that. But yeah, shouts to Murray Martin, 100 games. Obviously, it would have been probably 5 or 6 years ago when he had his brain bleed. Would have been a scary time for him, and yeah, he wouldn't have thought he'd make 100 NRL games. So hopefully we'll see some more from him in a Wales jersey this year, and Nua Kore and the front row as well, playing prop. I like that with the likes of Jackson Ford off the bench and Tanner Stowers-Smith. So how do we look at the head-to-head between these two teams? So 48 played. Warriors have only won 17, and
yeah,
the Panthers have won 30 with one draw. And obviously their last Magic round last year, 2022. The Warriors are on a pretty hot streak. They've won 6 of the last 7, and but the Panthers have they've stuck back into it. They're currently sitting ninth on the table, which is a lot better than a lot of people.
yeah.
They were wooden spoons at one point, so they've obviously just slowly clawing their way back. So yeah, I'm expecting it to be like you, a lot closer than
Yeah. Well,
a lot
I
expect.
do, I do hope. I mean, like for the sake of our points differential, because that win, our last win before the bye, 30, we got 30 points there, and that really helped our point differential because now we're on 30 plus 35. So we had to win by 30 points to get there, to get to 35 points, which says a lot. How low on points we were. But we need that. That top 4, top 5 sort of race, top 6 race is getting quite tight there. So points differential will come into it. So I do hope, for the sake of our point differential, that we do run them over. I don't know if I'll see it happening. I just, for some reason, can't help but feel that Penrith will just just play their hearts out, just like we did against them in Magic Round. So um, we'll have to wait and see there. Hey, before we continue, mate, you're mentioning the hyphenated names, double barrels there. I actually saw a stat and on online, and there's a guy. I actually just don't know who it is, but the
Random Stats
profile
Guy?
name, random stats guy. Yes,
Oh,
that's the
he's so
one.
good.
Yeah,
He's so
I
good.
saw it.
Love Random
Yeah,
Stats Guy.
yeah. Well, shout out to random stats guy. We'll tag him in this, when we actually get this out there. But we'll say, he said he put a post out saying the Warriors will break the record for most hyphenated names in an NRL team, and that is 7.
You'd think so. Like, has there been a team play 6? Surely they've beaten their own record.
So the 7 players are Charles Clockstad, DWZ, Moala Graham Tofa, RTS, Chanel Harris Tavita, James Fisher Harris, and Tanner Stowers-Smith. 7 players in the 17. So apparently that's the Warriors will break the record for the most hyphenated names in an NRL team naming. So I mean, I don't know if that's true or not, but either way, it's still quite fascinating. Random stats guy, thank you for that stat. Lot of hyphenated names. I've got a hyphenated name, so I understand. I understand.
You're representing. Yeah, I mean, it must be an NRL record, surely. Like, there can't be another team that's ever played. There was a while where like the Roosters had a couple Warrior Hargraves and Kenny Dowell, and I feel like there was a couple more, but 7's
Yeah,
ridiculous. Like to have
yeah,
5 of your 7 in your back line's unheard of.
yeah. Exactly.
So, Bo, yeah, we're sort of touching on it before, but there's obviously been a bit of chat in the media about the obviously the Panthers missing all these guys, and Ivan Cleary's come out and he's not too impressed with the NRL scheduling, because the issue is that basically they can't make it back on a flight in time from Perth to Auckland
Yeah,
because the game's in Auckland. But yeah, he said the Origin players won't be playing because they can't. I don't think that's fair that we can't play. We should be able to make that decision ourselves, and through flights we just can't get them there. And Gus Gold's sort of he's piped up in it as well. He said, "How would they expect those players to back up? It's terrible. If I was the Panthers club, I'd be blowing up deluxe. They're going to take their Origin players across." Someone at the NRL probably said, "Oh, it doesn't matter. They won't play anyway." But in previous years, they were leading the comp. Now they're in the battle for the top 8, and I'm sure they would have loved to have the Origin players available. So, um,
yeah,
yeah, like it's always a funny one around these sort of Origin periods, and there's like I know there was a bit of drama last week with Matt Burton not playing for the Bulldogs, and when he was 18th, he's 18th man for the Blues tonight. What was your take on any of that? Do you think they're just having a cry for having a cry's sake, or do you think there's more to it?
Nah, to be honest with you, I actually agree with him. Put yourself in his shoes. If the Warriors had 5 or 7 players out, and then they had to back up literally, like 3 or 4 days later, I'm sure we'd be saying the same thing. So I don't think Ivan Cleary is having a cry. I think he's got a genuine argument. Phil Goldbaum backing him up as well. I just think there's a genuine argument there. I mean, Perth is a long way away. I've been to Perth. To fly from Sydney to Perth is still a long way. It's like a good 5 hours. I think from memory it was about 5 hours.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a good 5 hours, and then you got to stop off, in Sydney. Then you're going to catch another flight, and obviously Wednesday night they'll play tonight, different time zone, etc. But they'll recover on Thursday. They'll probably leave on Thursday, um, and then by the time they get back to Sydney to get another flight, I mean, the timings of the flights, and there's not like there's just flights every 5 minutes. It's not like it's not like there's a flight every 5 minutes. You have to wait as well, and by the time they get to New Zealand, it'll probably be like Friday, the day before, and they wouldn't have trained or anything. They'll still be in recovery mode. I'm sure they'll be in recovery, especially after an Origin game. So I totally understand I don't think he's having a cry or a whinge. I think he should be, he has every right to be upset about all this. Because if this happened to the Warriors, we'd be saying the same thing. And the NRL has to take some accountability here because they're the ones that come up with the scheduling. They know what's happening. It's not like they turn a blind eye and say, "Oh, we didn't realize that." You got the Panthers, and you got teams like Panthers, Melbourne, the Storm. Also, Broncos, usually turn over a few Origin players as well. Those teams should really get a bye around this time because I think that's fair. I mean, to be honest with you, I know the Warriors had a bye last week, and it's always good. But going on the game that we played against the Sharks, I would love just to continue going. I would have loved for us to have continued, the momentum. I'm not saying that their momentum's going to stop, against the Panthers on Saturday. I'm just saying that I would have loved to have the bye later on. That's my opinion, and but yeah, I just think he has every right to be upset and angry about it because I would be too. I'd be like, oh, far out. We've got 5 players. You got a playmaker, Nathan Cleary, he's out. You've got Dylan Edwards, fullback. You've got some important forwards, the captain Isaiah Yo as well, right there. It's just like, hey, yeah, it's like you can't when those players um can't return and play, and especially in a season where they're actually not doing that well. It just makes it hard for them. So yeah, I'm totally on Ivan Cleary's side here, and yeah, I just think if we were as a Warriors fan, if it was us, we'd be probably saying the same thing. But what are your thoughts on that?
Oh yeah, I mean everyone gets a break. It's probably unfortunate they have to fly all the way back to the Warriors, to New Zealand, but it doesn't mean the Warriors just have to play in Australia after every state of origin game, just for the sake
Yeah,
of the other clubs. Um, yeah, I mean the short turnaround is don't stop being so good, Panthers. That's what I got to say. Stop being so good, so you won't have so many players in Origin, and then the rest of us can
yeah,
share in the sport and the spoils of victory.
yeah. But you can understand why he's a bit grieved about it, right? Like you can understand why. Like I. Like, you can understand, I mean, if they were going to be fair in scheduling, they probably would have put the teams. I mean, I know they can't at the beginning. I know the NRL at the beginning of the
They'd
season.
still be able to arrive back by Friday. Friday night maybe. Early. Sorry, Friday early morning maybe.
Yeah,
And then create the captain's run. And then go hit Commercial Bay and enjoy the Auckland nightlife and they'll have a great time. They'll probably be partying tonight as well after they down the Maroons in game
nah,
2 as
nah,
well. So
easy, 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 easy. Um, but
you
no,
can
sorry, keep going.
I just say you can't seriously give the Maroons a chance tonight, can you? The team they've named is useless.
I think they're gonna. I think honestly, on paper, they don't look the greatest, but I think something is gonna happen tonight, and I think that being a true, I'm not a Queenslander by by birth or anything, but I've always supported them, and I just think that something's going to happen. It's going to be a lot. I don't know if they'll win it, but there's going to be a lot of fireworks. It's going to be a lot of. I don't think it's going to be such a cruisy game as it was in for New South Wales as it was in game one. That's what I'm reckoning anyway. And I'm willing to bet with you that just a head-to-head clash here. If the Maroons win, you have to wear. You don't have to wear a Queensland jersey if you don't have one, because I'm sure you don't have one. But I'll wear a light blue shirt to the next episode and say Queensland sucks. Have the sign right here. If New South Wales win, but you have to do the same if you're willing to do it.
Yeah,
If
absolutely.
you're if you're confident.
I'm
Huh?
very confident to be honest with that. Yeah.
Is that a bit? Is that a bit? Is that a bit?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. All right. All right. Virtual
Virtual bet.
handshake. All right. Yeah. All good, all good. So yeah, no, I think that something. I don't. I agree on paper. They don't look like the greatest side, but I think that something's going to happen. Something surprising is going to happen. That's my that's my pick for tonight. But yeah, I mean, I don't have much to say. I just hope Capewell has a good game because I mean, I have to admit that the Queensland team has been pretty disappointing. There's been controversy around this game anyway, with the whole Billy Slater comments comments or saga with Andrew Woods calling him a grub, and then he came back and said some stuff. So, I mean, Andrew Woods calling him a grub. I mean, that's far out. Andrew Woods. Anyway, yeah.
Andrew Woods or Aaron Woods?
Oh, Aaron Woods. Far out. See, like you said, technical issues and now naming issues. Like you said at the
Yeah.
start of this episode. Why did I say Andrew Woods? Why did I say Andrew Woods?
Who knows, bro? Anyway,
Oh.
Origin's starting soon, so let's do some tips and get out of here. We've
Yep.
got Friday night first game, just one game. Tigers Raiders. You back in the Tigers to pull off an upset here, or the Raiders to continue
Nah.
their role?
Nah. Raiders to continue the role. I mean, the Tigers have lost their key playmaker in Luai because he's been called back into Origin. Now that Mitchell Moses has been ruled
I
out.
think I think he's been named for Friday, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, he can back up. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it depends how the game goes. I mean, like I obviously never played Origin, but I'm just saying I couldn't imagine how heavy a toll the body takes on that game. After that game. So,
Yeah,
but anyway, yeah, these guys are used to it. Luai's played so many games before, so he's used to it. So maybe he knows what he can do, what he can't do. But I still think, even if he does play, it'll be a sore, tired body. So I think, yeah, I still give it to the Raiders.
yeah. Warriors. I'm the same. Yeah, Warriors Panthers up next. Both back in the wires.
Yeah, yep, was all day, mate.
Dolphins Knights. Dolphins put another
Oh,
50 points on another team.
do you have to ask, mate? Do you have to ask?
Yeah, Knights are horrendous. I'd say Dolphins 50 plus and the Knights under 14 points or something like that would be a
Yeah,
good bet. Rabbit Storm in Sydney. Um, Obviously, the Rabbits here come off a loss to the Bulldogs. They'll hopefully have Latrell back. Cody Mitchell still, I think he's still out injured though. So can
yeah.
they pull off an upset against the Storm, or Storm too good?
Nah. I mean, Storm's got a few players away as well from Origin, but I still think that Storm have still got a lot of players that are not playing Origin. That are just doing really well. You got Hughes, Katoa. You got a lot of players there that are just they're not playing Origin. That are still ready to go. So I give it to Storm.
Nice. I'm gonna go Rabbits. Really upset.
Yep,
This could be their
yep,
turnaround point in the season.
yep,
Broncos Sharks up next. Broncos found a little bit of form in their last game, and then he came for a bye. The Sharks did pick up a win on the weekend against the Dragons, but they were pretty lucky to. I think
yep,
they were down 18-6 in the first half or something like that, and looked atrocious. But fortunately for them, the Dolphins the Dragons kind of threw the second half away, and gave them the win.
yeah.
Um, who you got on this one?
I'll go Broncos. I was really surprised that the Dragons lost. I remember watching the first half and they looked really good, and then I was surprised when I saw the score, the final score. I was really surprised. I was like, what the heck just happened here? But
Yeah,
I still, even though the Sharks won, I still give it to the Broncos. I don't think the Sharks are in any good form, to be honest.
yeah, with the Broncos as well.
Yeah,
Roosters, Cowboys up next. Obviously, both teams will be welcoming a fair few Origin players back since Sydney.
yeah, yeah.
Cowboys
I
bounced
still I
back
give
with
it
their
to
50 points.
Roosters.
I'll go Cowboys. And finally, Eels, Titans. Moses, obviously. Um, and the
Yeah.
Titans will be full of joy after their win against Manly. I'm going to go the Titans in this
But
one.
I'm going Titans as well. We saw how bad the Eagles were without their main playmaker
Yeah,
in the start of the season. So he made a difference when he came back. I mean, not saying they were winning all the games, but you can see the difference that he makes. So with him out, I don't think they could really replicate anything good that they've done this season. So yeah,
yeah.
not Eagles for me. Titans. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with Titans as well. Perfect. That's another week of the Couch Warriors. Thank you for listening, for watching. Yeah, if you give us a like or subscribe, depending on what you're watching us on, we're obviously on YouTube. If you're listening, or you're wanting to listen, we're on Spotify, Apple, iHeart, all the normal sort of podcast platforms. You should be able to find us there.
TikTok.
Yeah, we're on the TikToks. We're on the Instagrams. We're on the Facebooks. So find us, give us a like, give us a subscribe, give us a comment. We love getting in there, diving in the comments, and sort of talking about the issues of the day, Warriors related. Anything to say before we sign off, John?
No, it just as always. Thanks for the support. Like every week, the support continues to grow, bigger, and it's getting larger and larger. The support, on all platforms as well. So we, like I said, like Richard was saying, we're on TikTok now. We only just jumped on about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and we've seen the support sort of grow heavily. A lot of likes and stuff, and a lot of follows continue every day. So it's really good. It's really really refreshing for us to see because we were we weren't sure about TikTok. It's not really our thing, but yeah, it's working so far. So if if you're in any of those platforms on the social media, find us Couch Warriors, give us a follow and a like, because we're trying to put out all the news for you guys. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna say. So
Perfect.
thank you. Yeah,
Absolutely. And we
yeah,
will see you next week to hopefully review another good Warriors win, and they've climbed their way up the table even more. Thank
yeah.
you. Up the Blues, up the Wires.
Up the Maroons, up the Waz.
We've got the faith.